What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2010 movie Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. So in this movie, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are going out trying to find Voldemort's Horcruxes, because in order to defeat Voldemort, they have to destroy his Horcruxes, which are like objects that he put part of his soul into after killing people. And along the way, they find one Horcrux, and things kind of get crazy, and Ron leaves for a while, and eventually they end up getting caught by these people called Snatchers, who take different wizards and stuff to the Ministry of Magic, which is now being ran by Voldemort and the Death Eaters and stuff, to turn them in, but instead they end up getting taken to Malfoy Manor, where Dobby the House Elf ends up finding them and helping them escape and everything at the cost of his own life. But this is a really great entry in the franchise. I've always loved this movie from the very first time I saw it. I absolutely loved it, and it kind of Half-Blood Prince really kind of got me back into Harry Potter, and this one just really kind of helped cement my love for Harry Potter again after Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix kind of being disappointments to me and everything. I thought that I was kind of slowly starting to move on from the franchise. This movie and Half-Blood Prince and of course Deathly Hallows Part 2 came back and just totally brought my love back for the franchise, and I haven't stopped loving it since then, if that makes sense. Like I said, I never hated the franchise. I never got where I disliked it or anything. It just, for a long time, I just wasn't as excited for Harry Potter movies until these last three started coming out and everything. After Half-Blood Prince, it really made me excited for Deathly Hallows Parts 1 and 2 and everything. And Part 1, I think, is a really great movie, and it's another one that I know a lot of people kind of put like towards the middle of their rankings and stuff, because it's kind of a slow pace and everything, and it's half the story. I mean, you don't get the full story in this one because it's Part 1, but I actually really love a lot of the stuff that they did in this movie. The cast in here are all once again excellent, especially Emma Watson. I think this is probably her best performance as Hermione, but this is one of the ones where Hermione is the best written as well. But I think all of the cast are great in this movie, and there's some really good moments in here that are some of my favorite of the franchise. That whole scene when the Battle of the Seven Potters, when they're flying and stuff, and all the people use the Polyjuice potion to disguise themselves as Harry to get back to the Burrow and stuff before Harry's birthday, is an excellent scene and everything. It's really intense. I remember the first time I saw it in the theater and stuff, I just felt tensed up through the entire scene. Even though I had read the book and knew what was going to happen, it still was just insane and how intense it was and everything. And then the wedding and stuff, how everything just goes crazy. Like, one minute he's having this conversation with what's his name? Euphilius Dodge, I think is his name. I probably said his first name wrong, but he's having that conversation with him and the one lady about Dumbledore and stuff, and then all of a sudden the Kingsley sends that voice thing, and they take off on their adventure and everything. It's just crazy, like how things just escalated so fast in that movie. And there's a lot of parts in here where like it slows down for a little bit, and then it picks up where they're in really intense situations and stuff. It's really good movie though, and I love like how the characters are written in here. Ron kind of starts to lose his mind and stuff because of Voldemort's Horcrux. It affects him more than anybody, and they have to take turns using it because it affects their moods and stuff. And we see it a little bit with Harry because he kind of snaps at Hermione and everything, and then but Hermione never really goes off on anybody. It's like really crazy how she's the only one that's able to keep her calm and everything throughout the movie when they're having to take turns with it and everything. But it really affects Ron, and he goes off on Harry and he like leaves Harry and Hermione and everything for quite a while in the movie, like throughout half of the second act and stuff. He's gone, and then he ends up coming back and everything. But we get some really great moments too when he's gone too, because like you get the scene when they're at Godric's Hollow, which is a really awesome scene. You get to see James and Lily's grave and stuff, and it's a really emotional scene and stuff. It's the first time Harry ever gets to see their grave and stuff, and kind of takes you back to the first movie where he's seeing a lot of stuff for the first time and everything. It kind of was reminiscent of that, except it's a lot more sad and everything. And Daniel Radcliffe's performance in that scene is just excellent. Like he gives a really great performance in that scene, and it's just one of those little touching moments. Like I've said, there's a bunch of those moments in these movies where they're just little touching moments that are just really, really well done. And then when they get back and Ron shows back up and saves Harry when he's trying to get the sword of Godric Gryffindor out of the river, and he almost drowns and stuff. Ron saves him and destroys the Horcrux. It's a really great scene too. It's really weird though, because there's this Voldemort's Horcrux is messing with Ron's head, and you see like these projections of Harry and Hermione, and they're making out. It's really weird to see it and everything, but I think the filmmakers threw that in to get to really get the Harry and Hermione shippers going and stuff. I don't really know. I mean, I'm pretty sure that scene was in the book too, but I think the way they executed it was to get those Harry and Hermione shippers a little bit of satisfaction, maybe. I don't know. But I love that scene though. Like it, when Ron finally destroys it and stuff, it was one of the better moments for Ron, because they don't give him as much of the good moments in this franchise that he deserves like he gets in the books. A lot of the good stuff that Ron does in the books that really shaped him as a character and stuff are not in the movies. Same with Ginny and everything. That's one of my biggest complaints about the franchise, and I love that about this movie, that they did that. And then they go to see Luna Lovegood's dad, and we hear the Deathly Hallows story, and the animation in that scene when Hermione's reading it is just perfect and stuff. I've actually listened to it a few times when I've gone to bed before, like as a bedtime story, I guess, if you consider it that and everything. And just something soothing about Hermione's voice reading it and stuff. I absolutely love that scene though. The animation is awesome and really well done. And then you get that tense scene when after Voldemort's followers show up at his house, and they're about to attack Harry and them, and they get away. They think they got away just in the nick of time, and the Snatchers are right there when they land where they land, and they start chasing them, and they don't get a chance to get away. And then the big duel at Malfoy Manor and stuff. Draco recognizes Harry but doesn't say it's him. Really great little character moment for Draco that shows that he has humanity, which he already kind of showed it anyway in Half-Blood Prince, but it really kind of showed it even more in this one, which is something I really love. And everything. And that scene when Dobby dies is heartbreaking. Everybody I know that are Harry Potter fans love Dobby, and that scene is always just really sad to watch and everything. It'd be even more sad if he would have been in the rest of the movies like he was supposed to be. I think that it would have packed an even bigger punch, because the audience would have got to have even more time with him. But it's still a really good moment though, and he was one of the most memorable things about Chamber of Secrets, so it still really does hit hard when he dies and everything. But I really love Deathly Hallows Part 2. I mean Part 1, I'm sorry. I do love Part 2 as well, but I'll talk about that when I get to that one. But this one is a really great entry in the franchise. I don't think it's as underrated as Half-Blood Prince is. I actually know a lot of people that at least would say this is a little bit better than that one, but this one also is kind of one that doesn't get a lot of talk because it's kind of like the calm before the storm, before the big finale and stuff. This one is, and it does have a slower pace and everything. They could have maybe cut it down a little bit where it wasn't almost 2.5 hours, but I'm really glad they didn't. I love everything that they did and everything. There is some really great deleted scenes too, like the scenes when like Harry has a little moment with Dudley in a deleted scene, and there's one with Petunia where she tells him that he didn't just lose a mother that night at Godric's Hollow. She lost a sister. That was a really great scene. I don't get why they left both of those scenes out of the movie. That's one of the big complaints I have about it, and also didn't really like how they handled Peter Pettigrew. It's in the book when Harry and Ron are stuck in the little cellar thing at Malfoy Manor and everything. Pettigrew is trying to keep guard on him, and Harry's like, you owe me one because I saved your life and stuff. And you get in the book, like, Pettigrew hesitates a little bit, and the hand that Voldemort gave him in Goblet of Fire chokes him to death and stuff. And that was a really good scene that I think should have been in the movie, but at the same time I understand why they left it out, because that was kind of a graphic part in the novel that if they put it in the movie, they might not have been able to get the PG-13 rating. But I still wish they would have done something with him, made it work a little bit better. This movie had some creepy imagery and stuff too, like when they're in Godric's Hollow and the Bagshot is turning back into Nagini and stuff, and that scene looks really creepy and stuff. So I think they could have found a way to do the scene with Peter Pettigrew and made it work. That's one of my biggest complaints about the movie, is pretty much Dobby uses a wand and stuns him. It doesn't really say that he died or anything. They never bring Peter Pettigrew up again, so it's like, okay, did he kill him, or what happened? Like they never bring it back up in the movie, either of this movie or in the next one. So that was one thing I didn't really like about it. But for the most part, I love this movie. There's really nothing else about it that I can really complain about. I think it's a fun, entertaining movie, and definitely one of the better movies in the franchise. So and the cinematography in here is absolutely gorgeous. It's probably the best looking out of all the movies. Like, it has some really gorgeous scenery and stuff when they're in the woods, and different parts of the movie that they're in different locations and stuff, and they did such a great job filming it, and it just looks absolutely amazing. And Alejandro Display, I think is his name. He did the score for the movie, and I think it's easily the best score since probably Chamber of Secrets. It's definitely the best one that was not composed by John Williams in the franchise, for sure, and everything. Same goes with Part 2. He did the score for both of them, and I feel like he was perfect for both of these two movies, although it would have been even more epic and awesome if John Williams would have came back for the last two. But I think that Alejandro Display, or however you say his name, was really great and everything. So but yeah, so I'd say I'd give Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10, the same that I gave the first three movies, because I just really love this one. Now, I've always just had a big soft spot for it, and something about it, just when it came out, it came out at a really good time, I guess, for some reason, and I just absolutely love this movie, and it's been one of my favorites ever since it first came out and everything. So but yeah, so let me know in the comments what you think of this movie, and hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.